No, 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 no. Wait. Wait. I once said I was gonna make a video on those games as well. They are super good. I actually got the Special Reserve Games Hotline Miami collection. I was very happy about that. And although it is later than I wanted, I do deliver. Eventually. Hotline Miami and Hotline Miami 2, wrong number, are games developed by Denatone Games and published by Devolver Digital, who I love.
You are super early.
Oh, my bad.
They produced plenty of fun and addictive games before, and I mean, what other publisher has a game that's just a compilation of games they made, but knockoff versions instead? Both Hotline Miami 1 and 2 are top-down action games. Both have bright neon colors, an amazing soundtrack, great combo mechanics, and very intense violence. They also both have a very confusing story that leaves the player to put it all together. While these games mechanically and structurally sound the same, the difference between them is actually pretty big. In Hotline Miami 1, you get a tutorial from this homeless man, receive a phone call to where you need to go, commit violence to steal a briefcase, drop the briefcase in a trash can, and then fight the same homeless man later. From that point, it gets more confusing. Every time you clear a level, you talk to this bearded guy who has all these different jobs, but talks to you differently at each job. If you're observant, you can find pink pamphlets from an organization called 50 Blessings. You can also find other killed mass vigilantes in level as well and take their masks. You even encounter another mass vigilante, Biker, who you then have to fight in the phone home building. After fighting more Russian mafia bases, you eventually find the leader of the mafia. Once you kill the leader, you smoke a cigarette and throw away what appears to be a photo of something as it flies away and the music plays. Later, you can play as Biker, who Jacket didn't actually kill. As Biker, you then uncover that the creepy janitors were behind the mass killings. Except, you can't actually figure out their motives unless you use the owl mask to find the secret letters. We also can't reliably trust Jacket's memory of the later portion of the game due to his head injury. We also can't trust Jacket's memory as soon as the first part of the game due to the fact that we see Beard at every single store. Plus, the homeless man gives him the tutorial, who Jacket easily kills. At the end of the game, you're left with a lot of questions and not a lot of clues to get the answers. The second game starts with a tutorial, where you play as a mass murderer, but you're an actor in slasher horror based on the first game in universe. From that point onward comes the main change in Hotline Miami 2, characters. In Hotline Miami 1, you really only play as Jacket and get 2 bonus levels with Biker towards the end. Here in Hotline Miami 2, you play as Manny Pardo, Evan Wright, Jake, The Fans, Beard, Martin Brown, Richter, Henchman, and even the new head of the Russian Mafia, Sun. The game constantly has you moving forward and backwards in time. Characters from one part of the story show up in the next. There's more cutscenes that flesh these characters and their relationships out. The story is more ambitious with greater animation and a larger story at play. It's even more confusing, but thankfully, since the levels have dates, we are able to piece together what is actually happening. Personally, I prefer 2 story to 1. I love the branching and non-linear story, where you need to piece it all together. Also the ending, which I will not spoil here. Even now, we don't have the answer to everything. If you answer the phone in Evan's apartment before the subway level, you can talk to Biker from the first game. In the bar, you can see other playable characters. Even ones that at this point have died, or some characters we don't have direct backstories for, or even know what their identity is. Both of these games have the same core mechanics. You have melee weapons, guns, and the same enemy type. Normal enemies that take 1 hit to kill with any weapon, dogs which you can't shoot, and big guys that you can't melee. You can zoom out to see and plan further ahead. There are a lot of smaller tricks you can learn as well. By hitting a guard with the door, you can stun them. Throwing weapons also stuns enemies. You can shoot through glass. Some weapons like the knife, when thrown, kill instead. Guns, while better for getting levels done faster, alert others to your location, which you can use to bait them out of the room. While this isn't super expansive, there's a lot that can be done with what is given. They really push what could be done with such a simple design. And really, that's a lot of what Hotline Miami is. It's a game with simple but expansive gameplay. It's got a lot of tricks for you to learn so that you can get a higher grade in the levels. The best part is the quick respawn. As soon as you press the button, you are back at the beginning, but the music stays where you left it. Deaths don't feel annoying because nothing feels cheap, it's all fair. And also because the music doesn't reloop when you die. As you progress through levels, you get masks that give you different abilities. You also unlock new weapons to find in the stages. This encourages the player to experiment further with the tools they have already been given. There are also occasional mini-bosses that will test you. While 2 has the same basic gameplay as 1, it changes things up. Since you play as multiple characters, you get different gameplay styles you can't change. This changes the level design, as certain segments are built around certain characters, unlike before where you could do every level as just Richard. When you play as Beard, you have limited ammo and a knife you can switch between. But unlike when you play as Jacket, you need to go to an ammo crate to refill. You can't just pick up a new gun. Evan stages, you don't murder, but if you attack a downed enemy, you will get stuck in a punching animation, leaving you vulnerable. You still unlock masks for some characters. There's also notably no mini-bosses. You might be able to count the 1 prisoner in this stage, but they become a common enemy later on. and also that random annoying graffiti boss in Evan's stage. Now, while it may not sound like it, these games' approach to level design is extremely different. Hotline Miami 1 is a lot shorter, concise game. Hotline Miami 2 is longer and has more detail. It took me twice as long to beat Hotline Miami 2 than it did 1. And having 2 focus on a story changes more than what you would intentionally think. The levels are generally longer and feel more connected to the world as a whole. Where in the first game, you enter a building, bing bang boom. In the second game's world, you feel it's a real place with all these characters. However, since the levels are bigger and bolder in scale, they miss little cracks sometimes. In the level Dead Ahead, there's a part where you need to shoot 5 guys, who duck your bullets if you aren't close enough. You can't see them sometimes, but they can see you. When I first played this game, I remember I really struggled with this part. Since the shift has also turned from short game to longer game, when you complete a level you might think, oh finally, glad that's over, and not, that level was awesome. Towards the end of the second game, I would get annoyed when a level or segment went on for too long. Also, in some parts, it is nearly impossible to make do without a gun, so if you bring a melee weapon instead, skill up or restart. Which wouldn't be bad if it wasn't for the fact that the levels can be so long. 2 does have a unique reward that 1 does not have, however, and it's with the character cutscenes after level. You get to watch a mini story unfold and see how it will combine with the greater story and other characters. Before I really started writing my thoughts for this video, I thought these games were more similar than different. They're made by the same people after all, and how could they be that different? They only came out 3 years apart. But really, it's harder to compare than I originally thought. Is one better than the other? I don't know. Both do different things exceptionally, but in some areas one game lacks, the other picks up. If I were to replay either of these games sooner, I'd go with the first since it's shorter and more to the point, but I prefer 2 overall. The characters, the story, the music, the detail. If you ask me, I'd pick up both these games. They're both some of my favorites of all time. They go on sale a lot on Steam. Hotline Miami 2 also has a Steam workshop and level creator, so you can make your own Hotline Miami 3.